Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how I dyed my baby carrier. So let's just start with what you're going to need. You will need, of course, a baby carrier. I bought a Boba used carrier from eBay. You will need some fiber reactive dye and soda ash. I bought mine off of Amazon. It was in a kit. It had 4 colors and it came with the soda ash. You will want to make sure that you do not use RIT dye since this is going to be on a baby product. A lot of babies put things in their mouth, and RIT dye isn't as permanent as these other fiber reactive dyes, so it will bleed all the time and it won't stick like a fiber reactive dye will. So make sure that you use some sort of fiber reactive dyes. I think there are plenty out there. And last, to complete this project, you're going to need ice, gloves, something to cover your face, and lots of time. The first step is to do a soda ash soak. So I just did 1 gallon of warm water to 1 cup of soda ash, and I just did this in my sink because I found that to be the easiest. You can also buy soda ash at places like Walmart, and it would say something like Super Washing Soda. Arm & Hammer has a brand of this. Soda ash is not baking soda, so keep that in mind when purchasing your soda ash for the soaking part. You would really like to leave this soaking for as long as possible. I think mine ended up being around 45 minutes, but if you could do an hour or even longer, that would be great. I know some people recommend a very long time. I think it's just kind of preference. I didn't want to wait that long, but I did do a solid probably 45 minutes. The next step was to lay it out and add ice. I laid mine on an old dog kennel just so that the water, or as the ice melted, the water could run through. So you'll want something like this. You can do this with, cookie sheets in a tub or whatever. And I realized after I started this that the ice did not want to stay on some of the parts. So there is a way to keep the ice on using tin foil. I just did not do that. But if you do an ice dye, I would recommend using some tinfoil if you have like straps like I do, because it would keep the ice on there a lot better. The next step is the actual dyeing process. I first took turquoise and sprinkled that pretty much everywhere, and I was pretty generous with my dye. And then I took the jet black shade and filled in all the gaps. Before I did my final project, I did do a practice run on just a piece of cotton fabric, just to make sure that the colors that I wanted to use looked nice together and it kind of had the effect that I was going for. So I would really recommend doing a test run before you do this on your actual baby carrier. But keep in mind that you do need a lot of dye. So my project wasn't huge, but when you do your practice project, you might want to do something nice and small so that you have a lot of dye left over, because I actually ended up using all the rest of my dye for the actual baby carrier. Once you are done putting all the dye, you want to leave this to melt and soak and whatever you want to call it for probably the next, I did 24 hours for mine. Once all the ice melted, I just covered it with a plastic bag and left it until the next day when I wanted to actually reveal it. And then 24 hours later, this is what it looked like. It was a little bit scary looking, but just you have to be patient. You have to trust the process and just wait until it's completely washed and dried and everything before you determine whether it's good or not. The last steps are just to rinse all of the dye out, and this took forever. This probably took another 24 hours of rinsing, if not more. So I started out by just rinsing with cold water, and I did this until it wasn't so dark. This is just the headpiece, and you can see all of the dark color coming out of it. So especially if you use blues or blacks or anything like that, this is going to take a very long time. So after I rinsed with cold water for a while, I started doing my warm water soaks, which you can do in a bathtub or just a tub or whatever. And I would soak it for about 2 hours, drain the water, rinse it with cold, and then re-soak with warm. And I did this for about 24 hours until the water ran practically clear, because when when I would dump the water from the tub, there would be no color left in there, and you really want to make sure of that so that the dye doesn't rub off on your clothes when you wear your carrier and everything like that. The last step is to wash it in your washing machine with a little bit of detergent. I just did a regular wash with, I think I did warm water, I don't really remember. I'm not sure that it really matters. You just want to make sure you wash it, and that'll get all the residue out and everything like that. And then for me, I hung mine up to dry. I did not put it in the dryer because this is a soft structured carrier, so I made sure to dry it out in the sunshine or just hanging up, or whichever you have available to you. Once my carrier was completely dry, this is what it ended up looking like. I was super happy with it. It kind of had that water marble effect that I was going for, so I'm super happy with it. There are a few spots that still show through gray, and I was thinking of touching those up and adding more blue or black, but I kind of like it. It adds to the effect, so whichever you prefer. If you want to add more dye, go for it. If not, just leave it how it is, and this is the final effect. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later. Bye-bye!